Hello, good day to my GELECT 3 students. In this video, I'm going to discuss Chapter 8 on the topic of Population Ecology. For this chapter, we are going to uh, try to satisfy following objectives of the lesson. At the end of the module, okay, we should be able to discuss and understand how environment influences the population. And we will also try to differentiate the two life history patterns. Ano nga ba ito? And we're going to, I think this is comprehend how the different revolutions have affected global human population. So we're going to try to satisfy these three objectives. And so let's begin. So we're going to begin with the reminder that in our previous lessons, we have discussed the science of population, which is of course demography. Today, we're going to remind ourselves that we are living in um, a world, in an ecosystem which is finite resources. And we are going to understand the relationship between our ecology having finite resources and human resources that is exponentially growing. Okay? So what happens? Ano yung epekto nito? The introduction would remind us again of this number, 7.8 billion, that was as of last year. Okay? Ganyan po karami yung tao sa mundo. And if you try to take a look at, this number in terms of this picture, just to have an idea, what 7.8 billion looks like, broken down into different, nations. Okay, of course, we all know that China would be, into the top slot and followed by India and then US. And wow, humahabol po ang Indonesia. Saan po ang Philippines? Okay, andun po tayo. We actually comprise 1.4% of that global population. Of course, this would be others. Okay, dito yung mga iba't maliliit na bansa. Okay, so we are growing exponentially. Okay, is that a problem? Definitely a problem. Malaking problema yan. And moving on, this 7.8 billion um, is projected to even grow exponentially. So let's take a look at the world projection. Okay, by the year 2050, gaano kaya tayo kadami? Okay, let's click one of the images here. Of course, these are only projections, and actual numbers may be more or less than this. Imagine from 7 billion, we could hit 9 if things are doing the right that they are. If this is a pre-COVID data, well, probably it might, because this COVID cleansing or reaping has really done a lot to really curb the population growth in the most a sadistic way possible, done by um, of course hindi tayo magde-debate kung man-made yan. Okay? So here you have the numbers. Okay, take a look, and the exponential growth. Okay, so and of course the implication of this would be in terms of the carrying capacity. Okay, ano yung carrying capacity? Sabihin nga natin is the ability of the earth, of our ecosystem, to really give us the materials, quality materials based on the resources. How much the earth can actually support a certain number, X number of population. Okay, the demands of the human population have dealt the environment destructive blows. Hindi sumobra sa carrying capacity, the end, the results could be very catastrophic. Kaya nga dito, very destructive. And we are we are feeling, okay, these effects from global warming to flooding and so many more, starvation, uh, pandemic times have even made it worse. The CNN news shows a very tragic story of, okay, kids um in another part of the country being brought to hospitals out of, okay, malnutrition. So pandemic kids are dying out of malnutrition, okay, in um, some parts of the world. Sorry, I forgot. I just saw it on TV today. Okay, so but it's, I think, a Muslim country. Okay? So yun implication. Okay, so let's move on to the lesson proper. Population ecology is, of course, okay, the study of populations and their interaction with the environment. So when we try to contrast that to demography, demography is simply, okay, looking at, okay, the characteristics of population, age, okay, birth rate, mga ganyan. So when you talk of population ecology, it's like, okay, a related concept that would be looking at interactions of the population and the environment. Okay, so demography, population ecology related, but can be entirely different. Okay, so when you try to look at the environmental influences, okay, influences, can I highlight the word impact? Okay. Kasi doon tayo papunta eh. Ano yung impact? No? Tayo nai-impacto sa kapaligiran. Okay. What is the impact of population density? Okay. Ito yung mga demographic features na to sa environment. Okay. So first premise, we understand that the environment does not grow. In fact, it diminishes. It does not increase. It does increase, should increase, given the least disturbance, okay, the maximum time to replenish. However, okay, when the consumption, okay, outgrows the depletion, you know what happens, right? Negative balance, yeah. Okay. So population ecology gives an insight into the factors affecting fluctuations of population in the context of environmental support capacity. Yun nga, yung carrying capacity, supporting capacity. Okay? A certain kind of environment can only support a certain number of people. Parang bus yan. Kumbaga, okay, pupunta tayo sa Baguio or Trinidad. Sasakay tayo ng jeep, okay, na 9-seaters, yun yung carrying capacity. Okay? Gusto mong sumakay sa maliit na jeep, yung 10-seaters, okay, 5-5 lang. Okay? If anyone goes beyond 10, then sabit ka na lang. Di ba? So, well, of course, you know that population, okay, some related concepts here are still, okay, being reiterated for retention. Like, okay, what is population? It's a group of individuals. Okay, we are a population. Population density, okay, the number of people per unit area. Like, ilang katao ang per square meter ang nasa isang, okay, gaano ka-dense yung mga tao sa Baguio, okay, sa La Trinidad, okay, like how many people would be standing on 1 square meter, okay, so depende sa inyo. Yeah. Of course, we know that in cities the population density is greater than in, okay, urban areas, okay? And density does affect, okay, the carrying capacity. Okay? Too many dense people in a very small amount of, that's why in city mahirap talaga, no, the city doesn't have enough resources to actually support. And say we talk of a scarce resource like water. Kaya mahal yung tubig sa syudad kaysa sa probinsya. Okay, because of the density, the number of people trying to compete, okay, for a finite resource like fresh water. That's just a very simple example. Okay, I know you can relate to that. So when we talk of the population dynamics here, okay, so we'll try to break it down. Okay, kahit marami yung resources, resource abundance is the availability and abundance of environmental resources like food, water, and space. So yeah, we say in the city, maraming supermarket. In fact, my mall, okay, maraming goods. Yeah, but where would those goods come from? Pandemic time, lockdown. the reality hurts. Okay, that in a city full of mice, and then a mall that is closed, and it does not actually produce its own food. It's just transported into these population centers. Okay, so I think you know what this is. So resource abundance. Okay, it does, and specifically for the very very basic ones: water, okay, food, okay, space. And today, for example, we have too many sa space na lang, no? Boarding houses. Ang daming mga bakanting boarding houses dito sa Baguio because they had to really move out. In a way, it's good. Population density of the cities have been, lessened. Okay. It's because, of the pandemic. However, okay, so we try to understand that, okay, a space is also a resource. Okay, space. Try to go to Tokyo and you would really literally feel that space is a resource. Ang mahal-mahal. Okay, Hong Kong. You go to the most crowded spaces in this planet. Okay, and you would know that space would really hit you hard in the face, and try to understand that a space, okay, is a natural resource. Okay? And so is time. So life history patterns includes reproductive patterns. Okay, this is another factor that would affect population dynamics. Okay, life history. Ano nga ba ito? Okay, so um, the kinds of um, species that um, exist in a specific ecosystem, or that would contribute to such density, would depend on their size. So this factor is just saying that sometimes the size of a species matters. We have here the smaller, such that, okay, smaller species, those that have smaller body size, okay, they actually reproduce early. They have high mobility and have short lifespans. Okay, it's one of those salient laws of nature. Okay, the smaller the species, the shorter their lives. Okay, we also have the case selection on the other end. Okay, these are larger animals. Okay, having longer lifespan, and because they have longer lifespan, they reproduce, okay, later on in life, and they produce few offsprings. So the life history pattern is associated therefore with the reproductive pattern. So that's why, okay, hence this first statement. And it does affect the population dynamics. So if you try to look at the gist of this sentence, okay, gaano karami yung mga maliliit na species na ang dadaling, ang bibilis mag-reproduce. Okay, because hinahabol nila yung kanilang lifespan compared sa malalaking species, okay, who are actually trying to, okay, take their time, okay, and live, okay, and reproduce later on, okay, because they have time to spare. Mga ganyan, okay? Of course, we human beings belong to the second category, okay? That's why in our lifespan, okay, you have to wait for like 18 years bago ka magdibu para, bago manligaw, you have to come of age physically, mentally, emotionally para magka-shota, mag-asawa, mag-anak, ganon, di ba? Okay. So next, environmental conditions such as seasons and climatic conditions and availability of water and light. Okay, well, of course, environmental conditions like seasons and climate does affect yung population dynamics. Henceforth, pasok dito yung usaping climate change, global warming. Okay, imagine if you're living during the ice age, it does affect. Then only those that are adapted to cold weather, severe cold weather, can survive. And imagine kung, okay, um, we, God forbid, we live through the most, okay, hottest conditions, okay, when yung prophecy na the earth will melt, okay, and we live through heat waves upon heat waves, okay, then only those species that would be adapted to, okay, high temperature and climate, okay, would live. Okay, so, and that is why extreme weather conditions does, okay, affect or dictate this dynamic. Kaya kailangan natin yung optimal lang para dumami yung lahi. Okay? I don't know. So probably again, come to think of it, it's still another way of nature to weed out, okay, and balance, okay, human population. But on the other hand, alam natin we are partly responsible for the severe and extreme weather conditions that would affect, okay, the population dynamics. Okay, next, organisms' interaction in the community are also a limiting factor, okay, in keeping population sizes below the environmental capacity. I think this is self-explanatory, and you can think of so many expansion of this. Okay, organisms interacting, living in a community. Let's say, okay, if you try to adapt that to the Filipino way of thinking, sa hirap ng buhay ngayon, ang hirap magkaroon ng maraming anak. Ganun, di ba? Okay? So, nung panahon ng ating mga magulang, okay, you might probably belong to a big family like me, okay, because during the time of our parents and grandparents, okay, kaya pa nilang pakainin yung mga anak nila sa tuge, kamote, ugot de sayote, okay? Pero ngayon, isa, dalawang anak mo lang, hirap, di ba? Okay? Maghanap nga lang ng yaya, di ba? Para makapagtrabaho kang hirap. Alright? So, it's not only the environment that changes, but also everything, okay, in the environment. Economics, okay, include that. Okay, way of life. So, hence, okay, that is my expansion of this, okay, interaction in the community. So, all other things that are abiotic, non-physical, okay, factors that would affect, okay, such things. So next, let's take a look at some world population milestones. In the history of mankind, there would be some times wherein populations would go boom or bust. And this would be brought about by, okay, some extraordinary, okay, or unique factors. So one of the first, okay, that you'll be looking at would be, say, during the Neolithic Revolution, okay, and okay, saying that this is about 11,500 to 5,000 years ago. Okay, during this time, okay, society saw the development of technology in agriculture, and that is why it was called a revolution, because it did lead to some quantum leaps in the way people lived. Okay, this advent of agriculture provided a means of obtaining more abundant. Okay? So when people, okay, did develop or discovered some ways to grow crops in a more efficient manner, it did change their life. Hindi na sila mga nomads, they already became sedentary also. They already produce in excess, and it probably, okay, it did dramatically change the way they live. So you can try to imagine a life like this, okay? More sedentary life, okay, shift from hunting to gathering to production, okay, life gets to be more stable, okay, etc., etc. So, and um, another revolution, okay, and of course the rest is history, you know that. So, and okay, several hundred years, okay, thereafter, another time, another milestone during the Industrial Revolution. Again, okay, technology again did play a role, and it did transform dramatically the way of man, specifically the discovery and the harnessing of yung fossil fuels. Ito, okay, nung na-discover ng mga tao na yung black gold, yung maduming oil, pwede palang gawing, okay, pang gasolina, okay, karoon ng mga factories, karoon ng, okay, the Industrial Revolution is indeed one of the most dramatic, okay, milestones that ever happened to man. Okay. Kung yung Neolithic Revolution, it did change yung malaking bagay na yun, yung from nomads to sedentary life and everything. During the Industrial Revolution, marami pang umusbong na ano yan after effects na. Okay, others would even claim that this is also the birth of capitalism, slave labor, economic, boom leading to a lot of good things and also a lot of bad things. So, the industrialization. Okay, the effect of it was really staggering that somehow, okay, uh, societies, okay, had to aggressively, okay, take advantage of these finite resources. And um, of course, we know that the effect, okay, has been cumulative and catastrophic. Okay, um, and the impact of this on the population growth is immense. And it says here it turned some population from 500,000 to 1 billion in a span of 200 years. Technology, in a way, is a blessing and a curse. Okay, because it did made life easier, and when life gets easy, okay, population booms, right? Okay. Okay, another milestone that we will be looking at and be remembering would be the medical revolution. Uh, I I assume that you would probably can relate to this, specifically yung mga nursing students. Okay, the discovery of causes of infection, okay, and the cure for it, penicillin, and how these were transmitted, okay, etc. Alam niyo ba yung history ni penicillin? Okay, it's an accident, okay, but the moment antibiotics were discovered, okay, so this is only an example, okay. It was an accident, okay, how penicillin was discovered, okay. Anyway, these have liberated the human population from the perils of infectious disease. Another, okay, miracle that have extended, okay, lifespan, human lifespan, and okay, have again, okay, created the rise in the population. Okay, so come to think of it, class. Okay, what led to population growth would be, okay, waves and waves of invention, innovation, technological, medical, okay, that would have led to better quality of life. Okay, it's good for humans but bad for the environment. Okay, so now let's take a look at the green revolution. Hopefully ito yung medyo sensitibo, no, sa pangangailangan ng kapaligiran natin. Okay, the green revolution sought to increase the production and efficiency of agricultural systems worldwide through the development of new technologies. This time, okay, in societies or humanity, okay, is now learning to tame the beast, okay, that have, okay, made us ravage our very own, okay, world. And with the new green technologies, we're beginning to, uh, parang dragon yan eh. Okay, si, ano na yung movie na How to Train Your Dragon? So parang si Turok 2. Okay, yeah. So technology is just like Turok 2, the fiercest dragon. Okay, so that's the analogy that we can probably think of if we talk of the Green Revolution. Okay, so in principle, Green Revolution would be using technology, okay, in a more sustainable way. Okay, so that there's going to be like a win-win situation for human beings, okay, and for man to have a better life, and at the same time, okay, balance, also recognize the need for the environment and without compromising, okay, okay, environmental health. Okay, so another concept, okay, here would be environmental revolution. Okay, that is where we are now. So that, okay, green technologies, green revolution would now, okay, lead to, okay, an era of more, okay, sensitive and responsible, not only people but, okay, governance and government and world leaders, okay, and world politics. Okay, so these practices include shifting to environmentally sustainable sources of energy, new methods of farming and agriculture. You can think of um, several examples, okay, of global initiatives that would be, okay, representing environmental revolution. But one thing I would probably like to discuss to end this would be, okay, this project by Bill Gates. Okay, so to end this short video, okay, I'm going to ask a bonus question. If you know the answer, okay, drop your answer in the comment box below, and that would be plus 5 points, okay, to be added into your assessment, okay, for this lecture video for the chapter. Okay, so ito yung project ni Bill Gates. Ano ang tawag dito? So as you can see, okay, so I'm only asking for the name of this project of Bill Gates, but I'm going to discuss what this project does. It is actually a revolutionary, okay, beyond the green technology project. And Bill Gates, okay, with all his wealth and intelligence, okay, and humanitarian heart, okay, to really commit, okay, to solving, okay, the global, okay, problem on climate change. So he is actually using mirrors to try to harness the power of the sun, solar power. And this is actually his way of sending a message to the world that, hey, we can actually move, okay, away from um, being dependent to fossil fuels. So he's actually trying to uh, initiate another revolution, sort of technological revolution, okay, for us to be moving into some kind of clean, okay, alternative, okay, solar powered energy source rather than fossil fuel. Okay, so that's it. Kung alam niyo yung sagot dyan, okay, drink, hit, no, drop, okay, type on the comment section below. Okay, could Bill Gates be initiating, okay, uh, pushing this environmental revolution at its peak, or okay, into another kind of revolution? Baka artificial intelligence and revolution. Okay, so with that, okay, I think we have reached the end of this module you will be expecting, okay, and assessment. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.